Peter Frank stood amidst the bustling city. 50 years had passed, yet the scars of war remained etched in his memory. Berlin, now vibrant and alive, held the ghosts of his past. He could almost hear the screech of tank treads, smell the acrid fumes of diesel and cordite. The year was 1945. Berlin, the heart of the crumbling Reich, was under siege. Frank, a young panzer commander, was entrusted with the city's defense. His weapon, the legendary Tiger tank, a steel predator in the concrete jungle. He and his crew were the city's last line of defense, the very tip of the spear. His crew, hardened veterans all, were his brothers in arms. There was Karl, the stoic gunner, his aim as steady as a rock. Fritz, the driver, wrestled the Tiger through the rubble-choked streets, and young Wilhelm, the loader, whose boyish face hid a heart of iron. Together, they were the crew of the Iron Fury. The earth trembled as a horde of T-34S emerged from the morning mist. Russian tanks, seemingly endless, advanced towards their positions. Frank, his heart pounding against his ribs, barked orders. The air crackled with tension. The battle began with a deafening roar. Shells screamed through the air, each impact a concussion that rattled bones. The Tiger, a predator among wolves, stalked its prey. Frank's voice, calm amidst the chaos, directed his crew. Every shot from their 88mm cannon was a hammer blow. Each hit a symphony of destruction. But the Russians were relentless. They swarmed the Tiger, their cannons spitting fire. The air grew thick with the coppery tang of blood and the bitter scent of fear. Frank felt a cold dread grip his heart. They were outgunned, outmanned, but not out of the fight. Not while the Iron Fury still roared. "They're flanking us, Herr Lieutenant!" shouted Wilhelm, his voice high-pitched with panic. Frank, his mind racing, formulated a plan. They couldn't win a slugging match, not against such odds. They had to be cunning, use the rubble-strewn city to their advantage. "Fritz, hard right! Head for the Brandenburg Gate!" he roared, his voice barely audible above the din. The Tiger, its engine screaming in protest, lumbered through the debris-choked streets. Frank used the ruins of buildings as cover, drawing the enemy into a deadly game of cat and mouse. He picked his targets carefully, aiming for the most vulnerable points, exploiting every weakness. Each narrow escape, every Udachny Vistral, lucky shot, fueled their determination. Frank, his face grimy with sweat and grime, felt a surge of grim satisfaction as he watched another enemy tank erupt in flames. But the battle was far from over. The final confrontation was a maelstrom of steel and fire. The Tiger, its armor scarred and dented, stood defiant against the remaining enemy tanks. Frank, his eyes burning from fatigue, directed his crew with unwavering resolve. One by one, the Russian tanks fell, their fiery demise illuminating the twilight sky. When the smoke cleared, the Iron Fury stood alone, a battered but unbroken warrior amidst a field of twisted metal. The crew, exhausted but exhilarated, emerged from the tank. They had survived. They had triumphed. The Battle of Berlin raged on, but for Peter Frank and his crew, the war was over. They had stared death in the face and emerged victorious. Their story, passed down through whispers and hushed tones, became legend, a testament to the courage, the tenacity, and the brotherhood forged in the crucible of war.